A single plant produces 50,000 seeds per harvest and contains every amino acid required for human survival. Purdue University confirmed its protein quality rivals, that of milk. The Spanish Empire made growing it punishable by death in 1521. No genetic modification, no laboratory enhancement, no synthetic supplementation, just amaranth. It feeds a family for months from one backyard plot. The year was 1519. Tenochtitlan stood as the jewel of the Aztec Empire, a metropolis of 200,000 people surrounded by floating gardens and agricultural innovation. Before industrial farming, before synthetic fertilizers, before genetic modification, vast amaranth fields stretched across the Valley of Mexico, feeding an empire of 15 million people. This wasn't primitive subsistence farming, this was sophisticated agricultural science. Aztec warriors consumed amaranth cakes before battle for sustained energy. Priests mixed amaranth with honey to create sacred figures for religious ceremonies. And remarkably, 20% of the entire Aztec diet consisted of this single grain. Why? Because amaranth was the first complete protein grain in human cultivation. It worked so effectively that civilizations across 3 continents independently adopted it, recognizing its unparalleled nutritional value without modern scientific equipment. In the Himalayas, Tibetan communities cultivated amaranth at elevations of 14,000 feet where few other crops could survive. In Greece, ancient farmers grew it as the never-fading flower. African indigenous tribes developed it as drought-resistant sustenance when other crops failed. The physics of amaranth is remarkably simple. Every seed contains all 9 essential amino acids in nearly perfect ratios for human nutrition. It boasts 16 to 18% protein content compared to wheat's 10 to 14%. Its lysine levels dwarf all cereal grains. That's it. No combining with beans, no supplementation, no processing required. Complete nutrition from a single source. Then came 1521. Hernán Cortés arrived in the New World. The grain didn't change. The empire that controlled it did. Spanish conquistadors recognized amaranth's cultural and nutritional power immediately. They saw how it sustained Aztec civilization and recognized the threat it posed to colonial control. Systematic destruction became official policy. Growing amaranth became punishable by death or dismemberment. Why would a simple grain warrant such extreme measures? Because a population that could feed itself completely from backyard plots needed no imported grain. They required no dependence on Spanish wheat shipments. No control over the food supply meant no control over the people. Fast forward to the 1940s, Green Revolution. Industrial agriculture prioritized wheat, corn, and rice, crops that required fertilizers, pesticides, and eventually patented hybrid seeds. Amaranth required none of these inputs. It was self-seeding and effectively self-fertilizing. Agribusiness had no recurring revenue model for such a crop. The barriers became systematic. USDA crop subsidies excluded amaranth entirely. Agricultural extension programs taught only commodity grains. Seed companies focused exclusively on patentable hybrids, not ancient varieties. Food processing infrastructure was built around wheat and corn, with no accommodation for amaranth. Cultural erasure followed. Nutrition textbooks labeled it a primitive grain. Health food stores relegated it to expensive specialty sections. Medical schools taught protein combining instead of complete plant proteins. The result? A $200 billion global grain industry built on incomplete proteins. 500 years of systematic marginalization. That's what stands between you and complete plant-based nutrition. But science eventually vindicated what the Aztecs had known for millennia. Purdue University's Department of Food Science conducted comprehensive amino acid analysis of amaranth. When Purdue produces nutritional data, that data is not disputed. The specific test results were stunning. Amaranth protein scored 75 on the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. Wheat scored only 42, corn a mere 20. Amaranth matched milk protein quality without any animal products whatsoever. Additional validation came from every corner of the scientific community. The University of Nebraska confirmed amaranth's superior lysine content. NASA selected amaranth for space missions due to its complete nutrition profile. The World Health Organization recognized it as the only grain meeting all essential amino acid requirements. The nutritional superiority is striking. Twice the protein of wheat, 3 times the fiber of rice, 4 times the iron of wheat, and a complete amino acid profile unmatched by any cereal grain. Clinical evidence supported these findings. Studies in Peru showed amaranth-fed children had better growth rates than wheat-fed children. Research in India demonstrated amaranth's ability to prevent protein malnutrition. Mexican studies confirmed traditional amaranth consumption correlated with lower diabetes rates. The data required to prove amaranth's superiority was the same data the Aztecs lived by for 8,000 years. The vindication exists. It's thorough. It is university documented. And yet, it changes almost nothing because the systems that keep amaranth out of mainstream agriculture operate at a layer below the data. But a modern revival is underway. In 2018, in Rajasthan, India, drought-stricken farmers planted amaranth when wheat crops failed. They harvested 6,000 pounds per acre with zero irrigation. The system said amaranth was primitive. They fed their villages with it and let the numbers make the argument. Across rural America, amaranth cultivation has become a fixture in the permaculture community. Seed-saving networks share varieties that were banned for 500 years. Backyard harvests are producing complete protein for entire families. The people planting amaranth aren't professional farmers. They're homesteaders, preppers, and health-conscious families who read what the industry does not teach and decided to test it themselves. What did they discover? Exactly what the Aztecs discovered in 1500 BCE. The complexity in amaranth is not in the growing. It is in the regulatory barriers and market access. The barrier is not knowledge. It is not skill. It is not money. It is the distance between what the nutritional data says and what the food system allows. Despite these obstacles, success stories are emerging. Amaranth flour mills are opening in Colorado and New Mexico. Restaurants in Mexico City are reviving traditional amaranth dishes. Health food companies are finally recognizing complete plant protein demand. Here's the reality. There is a grain that contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce. It is not a theory. It is not a superfood marketing claim. It has been tested, measured, and documented for 8,000 years across 4 continents. The historical proof is undeniable. The Aztecs built an empire on it for millennia. Purdue University proved it rivals milk protein. 50,000 seeds from one plant have fed families through entire winters. What does amaranth ask in return? Nothing. No synthetic fertilizers, no pesticide applications, no genetic modification. It asks only for soil and rain, which arrive without a patent or a monthly bill. This knowledge was never truly lost. The Romans knew it as the never-fading flour. The Aztecs called it Cuautli, the food of immortality. The seeds are sitting in health food stores right now for just $2 per pound. The knowledge isn't locked away. It's growing in demonstration plots across the country right now, waiting for you to plant what the conquistadors tried to erase forever. What shocked you most about amaranth's history? Comment below and tell us what you'd grow if you had these seeds. Subscribe now. The truth they tried to bury is sprouting again.